Welcome everyone to Prospect Football Weekly, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings in Mount Prospect. This is week number 4, and I'm here with head coach Dan DeBuff. Coach, thank you for joining us as always.
It's my favorite day of the week.
There you go, perfect. Points were tough to come by in the first half against Niles North. What adjustments did you make which helped an offensive outbreak in the second half?
I wouldn't necessarily say it was adjustments. I would say that it was just us finishing drives. I think in the first half you saw we had a couple big plays, and we missed a couple big plays that could have been some big points in the first half.
Sophomores made a lot of big plays on both sides of the ball in the victory last week. How essential is it to have them playing well on a consistent basis?
Yeah, I think that's where we're at as a program, where we play a lot of juniors and a lot of sophomores in some key spots, and I think that they're going to continue to improve week after week as they get more experience.
Defense had a much better night tackling against Niles North than they did against Hoffman Estates. What was improved during practice that helped tackling improve during the game?
I think Coach Collins does a great job of preparing our defense on a weekly basis, and they do tackling every single day. So they're working on technique every day, which is good.
Jimmy Martin had a big night in both the air and on the ground. How well do you think he performed in the game and his work on the practice field heading into the week?
Yeah, really happy with how he's improved since week 1. I think you've seen each week him get a little bit better, and if we can continue to build off that, he should have a really nice season.
I think one play in particular that really stood out was the missed punt where Michael Chaffetz picked it up and ran for a pretty good distance. How did that get the bench excited and pumped up during the second half?
Well, I wish I could say that was planned for that to go that way, but it was exciting. I mean, it was nice to finally have something maybe bounce our way a little bit, where earlier in the game it kind of seemed like all the balances were kind of going the other way.
I think the offensive line did a great job keeping Jimmy and the running attack on their feet. How essential is it to keep them up in your 4 or 5 set system?
Yeah, so the guys up front, those 5, those are the most important people almost on the team, right? Without them, we can't do anything. So we're really counting on those guys to step up and be leaders on the field for us.
Thank you, Coach DeBuff, and stay tuned for a special interview with linebacker Michael Chaffetz.
Welcome back to Prospect Football Weekly, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings in Mount Prospect. I'm here with senior linebacker Michael Chaffetz. Michael, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
You made a lot of big tackles against Niles North last Friday. How did you try to improve from the Hoffman game?
So we had a couple focuses this week on just rallying to the ball and making sure their quarterback, who was a very good athlete, we have to try to contain him so that he doesn't make a lot of big plays.
Absolutely. How do you think the defense as a whole has improved since the beginning of the season?
I think a lot of technical things like how we tackle and, like I said, rallying to the ball. I think our aggression has been there since day one, and that's something that we need to improve on too. But I think overall our technical aspects, like form tackling and that kind of stuff, has really improved.
Now in your second year on the starting lineup, how do you try to be a leader for this defense?
I just want to bring the experience that I have through everything that I've done in this program and try to bring that to the younger guys and help them succeed.
Absolutely. With the color throw and all of the other festivities, how does that hype up the defense for a homecoming game?
I think it's obviously awesome that there's a lot of people coming to our games, and I think that really helps the energy. But I think our main focus is just on ourselves and how we need to play this week to beat Deerfield.
How important was getting that win on the road, now with a chance for 2 more wins at home?
It's big, and it was a team that I think we needed to beat. I think it was a big win for us, and we just need to keep that momentum going so we can try to make a playoff run.
Absolutely. That's all we have for linebacker Michael Chaffetz. Stay tuned for a special interview with Coach Menaker. Welcome back to Prospect Football Weekly, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings in Mount Prospect. I'm here with our special guest, head cheer coach, Miss Menaker. Miss Menaker, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
The cheer program is coming off its best season in program history. Can you talk about last season and some of the accomplishments that the program received?
Yeah, so last year was an exciting season for us. We placed 8th in the whole state, so that was really exciting. Definitely, the girls worked really hard, and they really earned that, so that was exciting to see. In addition to that, we placed top 5 in all of our competitions that we had last year, so that was great. And then we achieved our 2nd sectional title in the last 3 years. So it was a big season for us.
Very impressive,
yeah.
Absolutely. Having a good amount of underclassmen in the program, how important is it to keep developing young talent in cheer?
It's a great question. So we actually have more underclassmen than we've ever had in our program. So it's really been a focus of the coaching staff to be able to kind of cultivate those relationships with the upperclassmen and really get them invested in the culture of our program. So we actually set up like little cheer families. So the girls, the underclassmen, and the upperclassmen are kind of paired together. They do like little team bonding things. They work on different skills together, but it's really just to get them kind of buying into the program and getting them to feel that relationship.
Definitely. Losing a couple seniors from last season, who has really come into this season and embraced a leadership role for this team?
So I'll say the juniors have actually really impressed us this year. We've got 7 seniors that are graduating at the end of this year, so I think there's a little bit of pressure on them to kind of build that leadership and to really kind of take ownership of the program, and they've done a really good job.
Absolutely. What are some expectations for this coming season? Where does this team want to be by the end of the season?
So obviously state is our ultimate goal. It's kind of what every cheer program works for. So that's definitely a place we'd like to be at the end of the season. But just more than that, it's not necessarily about beating where we were last year, but just kind of pushing ourselves and working together as a team to kind of achieve that ultimate goal, I think is really what we'd like to see.
Definitely. Can you talk a little bit about the preparation the team does for football season and like how much time would it take to get all of the routines down?
So we practice 3 days a week during football season, and really our biggest focus, we're always focused on competition season. So we really focus a lot on stunting and building the skills that we know that they're going to need for competition season. At the end of October, our choreographer comes in and does 16 hours with JV and with varsity to teach us our competition routine and work on different skills and things like that. So kind of just getting ready for him and hoping that we've kind of reached the point where he can come in and build a successful routine for us.
Definitely. What are some of the invites coming up for the cheer team to start the season?
Our very first competition, both JV and varsity, they'll be competing at Stevenson High School. That's at the beginning of December.
Okay.
And then both levels perform at Rolling Meadows and at Buffalo Grove.
Okay.
Once JV is done competing, varsity will carry on. They'll perform at Niles West, and then they have their conference competition, and then sectionals at the end of January.
And then hopefully state after that,
and
too.
Hopefully state, yep.
All right. That's all we have for Coach Meneder. Stay tuned for a special interview with head coach Dan DeBuff.
Welcome back, everyone, to week number 4 of Prospect Football Weekly, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings in Mount Prospect. Coach DeBuff has been glad enough to join me back at the table. Welcome back.
You got it.
Deerfield played pretty competitively against a strong Buffalo Grove offense on Friday night. What have you seen from Deerfield so far this season?
I think they're going to be really disciplined, and I think they got a lot of tough kids on their team that play really hard.
Deerfield's defense has done a good job the first couple weeks of the season, never giving up more than 21 points in the first 3 games. How important will it be to score against a defense like this, especially early in the first quarter?
Yeah, I think starting fast on offense has really been a focus for us this week. I think our defense has been playing pretty consistently well, so we want to try to step up and start fast on offense.
Another game and another team that the team is unfamiliar with. What is the mindset this week on both sides of the ball heading into the week?
Our mindset and our focus is still going to be on ourselves. We know how good of a team we can be, but we have to play up to our potential, so it's really going to be, the focus is going to be on ourselves.
Obviously, with this being a homecoming game, do you see any pressure with the attendance that's going to be at the game on Friday night?
No, I mean, we were talking about that this week. A lot of coaches always say it's the big distractions of homecoming. In my opinion, I don't think it's a distraction at all. I think it makes it an exciting time to be a high school football player. And our routines are set in stone to the point where, a little bit of outside influence shouldn't affect us. If it does, then we're in trouble.
You've had experience with homecoming games at Johnsburg, but now you're coming to Prospect on a larger student body. What type of atmosphere are you expecting on Friday, especially with the festivities that are planned?
Yeah, I'm hoping it is a lot like week 1. That was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to a big, loud crowd, and you can kind of feel the energy building up for Friday because this is a really big game for our program right now.
Hopefully it's another win. And this is off topic, but the shoes you wear on the sideline, very interesting choice. Can you talk about that for a sec?
Yeah, those are my good luck boots. A lot of wins in those boots, so they're kind of like my little good luck charm. And it kind of goes along with our team theme of also being outlaws.
Oh,
so it kind of all ties in together.
Yeah, it really does. And that's all we have for Coach DeBuff. Stay tuned for week number 5 of Prospect Football Weekly when we preview the game against Hersey once again here at George Gaddis Memorial Stadium. We will see you next week.
All right.